Welcome back to Chapter 4, Chemical Calculations, Section 4.4, the yield of a chemical reaction. By the end of this tutorial, you will be able to define the yield of a chemical reaction, explain how to calculate the theoretical yield of a reaction, and finally, explain how to calculate the percentage yield of a chemical reaction. What does the word yield of a chemical reaction mean exactly? To know that, we would like to introduce certain things. Many of the substances that you use every day have to be made from other chemicals. This may involve using complex chemical reactions. Examples include the plastics and composites that are used in your phones and computers. For example, the ink in your pen or the printer and the artificial fibers that are in your clothes. All of these are made using chemical reactions. So generally, imagine a reaction which is A plus 2B gives C, where A and B are chemicals that we allowed to react together, and they produced us a product like the ones we have seen now, like the plastics, the ink, the fibers. So, for example, if you need a 1000 kilogram of a product that we call C, you can work out how much A and B you need, which means that you can know how much you need from the initial chemicals that you will mix together. All you need to know is the relative formula masses of A, B, and C and the balanced symbol equation. If you have these, you can work out how much of the chemicals A and B you need. If you carry out the reaction, it is unlikely you will get as much as of C as you worked out. So, it is unlikely to get the amount of C that you actually calculated. Yeah, you can do calculations, but not all the time, and it's impossible to get 100% the amount you assumed to get by calculation. This is because our calculations assumed that all of the reactants A and B would be turned into product C. So calculating numbers will always assume that all the reactants will be gone by the end of the reaction and to get fully the product C. And this is not always the case in chemistry. There are a lot of factors that affect the amount that is produced. So the mass of the product that a chemical reaction produces is what we call the yield. So the yield, it's actually referred to the mass of the product that the chemical reaction produces at the end. It is useful to think about a reaction in terms of their percentage yield. This compares the mass of the product that the reaction actually produces in reality with what? With the maximum theoretical mass that it could possibly produce, which means it's according to our calculation, as predicted from the balanced symbol equation. So, the maximum mass possible is known as the theoretical yield of a reaction. Here is the formula that we can use to calculate the percentage yield. Percentage yield is equal to the actual mass of product produced, which means the one we got actually in the reaction after performing it, divided by the maximum theoretical mass of product possible, which is the one we calculated and we assumed to get, times 100. So, if the maximum mass of product was equal to 1000 kilogram, but only 800 kilograms were collected, then the percentage yield is equal to 800 kilograms divided by 1000 kilograms times 100, and the percentage yield is 80%.